Hey everybody, how are you? It's Mary. I feel like it's been forever since I've spoken with you. So, happy Wednesday afternoon. I hope everybody's weigh-ins have been going well. It's an exciting time. We're about midway through the challenge, so that's pretty cool. So today we are going to talk about nutrition labels. I love this conversation because it's so informative. So here's the thing. Nutrition labels are just a good tool for us to use in understanding what it is that we're consuming and how much are we consuming and what exactly is a portion size. So I recommend that people use nutrition labels along with whatever app you're using to track your food, MyFitnessPal or Fat Secret, or if you're tracking food on your Fitbit app or exercise tracker, any of that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is share my screen on my fancy online tool, Screencast-O-Matic. You still see my face. And here we are looking at a sample nutrition label. So where am I online? I'm on FDA.gov. They actually have some good information regarding various and sundry things on the FDA site. So here we have in front of us a nutrition label. So if you go to your pantry and you pull out something, you can sort of follow along with your own labels to just have a real life example in front of you. This happens to be a sample label for macaroni and cheese. So the first thing that we're taking a look at is the serving size of the package that we're holding. And so on this package, it says the serving size is 1 cup and there are 2 servings per container. So why is this such a big deal? It's such a big deal because sometimes we grab a hold of something and we think just because it's packaged in one package, it's 1 serving. And that is not always the case. So maybe this is a box of macaroni and cheese or some sort of package, and it's intended to be maybe shared, or just understand that it's 2 servings. Fantastic. So what is the amount of calories? What are the amount of calories? Is our Joe grammar check. What calories are in each serving? 250 calories per serving. So here's the thing. If you eat the whole thing, you've just consumed 500 calories. So you have to be very careful with that, right? All right. So 250 calories and 110 calories are from fat. Fantastic. So if you eat the whole thing, that's 220 calories from fat, which is on the high side. All right. So that's covered. Fantastic. In the yellow here, this is a whole yellow flag. Caution, limit these nutrients. So what are these nutrients? There's fats, saturated and trans fats, cholesterol, and sodium. So that's the limit. Then there's recommended or percentage daily values. And so what this says is that in this serving, per serving of macaroni and cheese, it's 18%. Those 12 grams are 18% of what is recommended in our daily value. So if the recommendation is 38 grams of fat, I'm not going to do this in my head, and if we're eating 12 grams, that means we've eaten almost 32%, let's call it a third, of our allocation of fat for the day. So we kind of have to say, is it worth it? Is it worth having this much fat? Okay, but here's a little piece of knowledge. I'm going to kind of skip ahead. The little piece of knowledge is in this footnote. And what does this footnote say? It says that the percent daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So who in the room is eating 2,000 calories a day? Who's on a 2,000 calorie meal plan? You're probably on a 1,500 calorie meal plan or a 1,300 calorie meal plan. Maybe on the days that you're exercising, you're expending a little more energy. Maybe you're on an 1,800 calorie meal plan. Maybe you're on a 2,000 calorie meal plan and this works for you, but most people are not necessarily. So what does that mean? That means you have to do more math. That means if you are on, say, a 1,500 calorie meal plan, you have to reduce actually you would be increasing the daily percentage value because it's only going to be on 1,500 calories instead of 2,000. So you have to say, all right, if the 12 grams is 18% of the total, you need to increase that by another 25%. So you may be closer to 22% of the total percentage daily value. I hope that makes sense. So this is based on a 2,000 calorie meal plan, but if you're on a 1,500 calorie meal plan, the fat grams mean more to your total than otherwise. Okay, if you have questions on that, put them in the comments below and we'll address them. Okay, so in the blue category, blue is beautiful, we want to make sure that we're getting enough of those calories, of those nutrients rather, so you can get more of them. And then sugars and protein are in white. I'm not really sure why, but they are. So if you look at your nutrition label on just a package of something, this is a package of unsalted mixed nuts, there's no color coding. So you just kind of have to remember, oh yeah, not so many fats. Let's take a look at our carbs and what do carbs come from? They're a combination of fiber and sugar. And what about protein? All right, we're good. Okay, so I want to scroll down to something here. So it talks about the serving size on this deal. And this I love. So for example, we just said that it's one serving is 1 cup on this label, and a double serving is 2 cups. So when you take a look at the total fat, I'm just picking on fat because it's the first thing here, it's 18% of our daily value on a 2,000 calorie diet. But if we do a double serving, we're having 24 grams of fat, which is 36% of our daily value. Now, if we're not on a 2,000 calorie diet, it could be up as much as 50% of our daily recommended value in just that one nutrient. So that is important to know. So you're just doubling it if you're having it a double amount. Okay, I like this area. The general guide to calories, just in general. For 40 calories of an item, that's low calorie, 40 calories. 100 calories is moderate. So what that means is how many calories from fat are in there in a serving? 110 calories. So if you consume 2 servings, what does that look like? So we're talking about calories from fat. 40 calories in a serving is low. 100 calories is moderate. 400 calories from fat is high. So we want to make sure that we're staying in that below 100. Now remember, that's based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So we're really probably more like 75 calories or lower is moderate. Okay, so keep that in mind. The other thing that I wanted to show you, we went through the footnote. Here, I wanted to show you this. We're going to talk the rest of the week about, we're going to compare, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling, I know that's painful. We're going to compare things. We're going to compare sugar content in some things, and we're going to compare foods that you can kind of understand how to manage your choices. So these 2 labels here are labels from 2% milk and non-fat milk. And I'm all about drinking the non-fat milk. If you're a milk drinker, you want to drink milk, great, more power to you. But let's drink non-fat. Why am I saying that? So side by side, in 1 cup of milk, 2%, it's 120 calories versus 80 in the non-fat. The total fat is 5 grams, 3 grams of saturated fat, where there's 0 fat in the non-fat milk. Good thing it's non-fat, there's 0 fat. Cholesterol, less than 5 milligrams on the non-fat, there's 20 milligrams. Sodium is the same, carbs the same, no fiber. Sugar is 11 grams. Now sometimes this causes the warning lights to go off. Whoa, sugar, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what is the sugar? The sugar is lactose. Lactose is a naturally occurring sugar in milk. It's not added sugar. It's not an added sweetener, unlike vanilla creamers or that kind of thing that are added sweetener. This is a naturally occurring sugar inside of the milk. It just happens. So it is better for us, unless of course you have a lactose intolerance, but it is better for us than having any sort of added sugar. And here's the thing. The amount of calcium, which is really why people drink milk, right, is to get calcium. It's 30%. The level of iron is the same. The vitamin A is the same. The vitamin C is the same. The vitamin D is the same. So all that's happened here is the fat has been taken out. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Just switch to that non-fat milk and call it a day. So that's something to take a look at. It's very, very important. And that's in an 8-ounce serving. So if your kids are anything like mine are milk drinkers, and they'll rip through 3 cups of milk in a meal. Not uncommon. So anyway, again, this is just for 1 serving. So if you're having multiple servings, so think about your kids. If you're feeding your kids, older kids, say, 2% milk, and they're having 360 calories, and there's 45 calories from fat, and now 45 times 3 is 135 calories of fat in their 3 glasses of milk. Even if it's 3 throughout the day, that's a lot of fat. That's now in the high fat range, because chances are your kids aren't eating a 2,000 calorie diet. So that's something to think about. It's something to think about. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to go back here. All right. And I want to show you something. So I've got my tub of unsalted mixed nuts from Costco. Love it. And my nutrition label, I'm trying to line it up here, tells me that a serving size is 1 ounce. So I used to eat nuts by the handful. And then I said, all right, what does 1 ounce look like? And it looks like this. Do you see this little dish? It's like a little dipping dish. And this is sort of a generous 1 ounce. This is probably more. 1 ounce is like a tablespoon. This is definitely more than a tablespoon. So I'm going to take some out. It's probably more like this. So I took this amount out. Can you see? Yeah. I'm trying to get used to my camera. So this is a snack. This is why we say protein plus. I will have these nuts and an apple. So now I've had some nice fiber. I've had my protein. I have crunchy nuts, crunchy apple, complex carbs all over the place. It's awesome. So your task for the week is to take a look at some of your favorite foods inside your pantry and really understand what your serving size is, and look at what the nutrition says and think about, does that make sense with your goals? And again, this is why we love tracking food, because it kind of does the work for you. You put in your calories, and it does the conversion of like, okay, you want 1,500 calories, here's how much of everything that you should be eating. So that's why we like that stuff. That's all I have for you today. Read your nutrition labels. Tell us what you think below, what you learned, and if you have any questions on anything. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.